In 1946, three war-weary soldiers chased a white pyramid deep in Ladakh, only to find a mountain where storms rose without warning. Maps proved wrong, and every ridge seemed intent on turning them back.
Hey, glad you're here. Welcome to the Himalayan Journals. Here on this channel, we bring to you real stories from century old field notes. We try to keep it simple and calm here. Think of it as a documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s, covering stories of indigenous wisdom, epic expeditions, and groundbreaking science passed on just as they were recorded. Subscribe, zone out, binge.
In May 1946, three men set their sights on the Great White Pyramid of Nun, 23,400 feet high in the Ladakh Himalaya. Their plan was ambitious for a single month, yet for soldiers who had spent the war years away from the mountains, the pull of a true expedition was irresistible. The team was led by Major Roy Barry of the Engineer-in-Chief's branch, joined by Major T.S. Stobart of the Army Films Unit, and Captain Ralph James, who wrote this account. Their plan was to attempt Nun of the Nunkun Massif. Approached from Kashmir, Stobart would manage food, medicine, and filming. Barry took charge of logistics, and the Himalayan Club helped recruit three Sherpas: Ang Tensing, veteran of three Everest expeditions, Ang Gilung, and the youngest, Sarki. By early May, the team gathered in Rawalpindi under blistering heat. They loaded a lorry, left for Murree, and reached Srinagar on May 12th. The next day, joined by Stobart, they moved toward Sonamarg, breaking up equipment into 12 pony loads. Beyond that point, the road gave way to a mountain track. Transport troubles soon began. Extortionate pony men, unhelpful officials, and endless bargaining for coolies. They pressed on to Baltal, then crossed the Zoji at 11,000 feet under fine weather. On May 16th, they reached Dras, where they again faced inflated rates to cross the Umbala. The postmaster, confidently predicting a month of fine weather, was proved wrong within hours as snow closed around them. They camped at 13,500 feet in half a blizzard, tents crowded with shivering porters who claimed they were dying. By May 18th, the skies cleared and the men pushed over the Umbala, descending to Umba village and onward to Sanko and Tamo. In the Suru Valley, there the river cut a wide course between snow peaks, and on May 20th, the team first glimpsed Nun, gleaming in the morning sun. From Suru village, they prepared their assault route, assisted by the Zaildar and the local guide Qasim Khan, who knew the East Ridge approach from earlier expeditions. On May 23rd, they began their march toward the mountain. Roy Barry suffered from toothache so severe that Stobart extracted the tooth with sterilized nail pullers after a dose of morphia that had barely taken effect. From Porketsi, they moved toward Gulma Tongas, passing through light snow and bright bird life, and entered the Shafat Nala, where the Bullock workmen had camped 40 years earlier. There they built their moraine camp amid the debris of the Shafat Glacier. Unlike the workmen's year of fine weather, snow now fell daily, clearing each dawn only to return by afternoon. By May 26th, they reached 17,000 feet and made their base camp beneath a high rocky outcrop. It was well sheltered, with a cave cut under the rock for cooking and stores. On May 29th, after 2 storm-bound days, they climbed to establish Camp the One at 18,500 feet. The following day, James and Ang Tensing carried loads higher, and fixed Camp 2 at 20,000 feet on the Farabad Ridge, the route now clear, up to the col between White Needle and Nun, and along the east ridge to the summit. From there, they gazed down a sheer 5,000-foot drop. June brought worsening weather. Camp 3 was fixed at about 21,000 feet on June 2nd, but clouds thickened and temperatures fell to 40 degrees of frost. On June 4th, Barry and James attempted White Needle but were forced back by a storm. Time and leave were ending. They decided to retreat. Snow blinded James on descent, yet he skied alone from 20,000 to 17,000 feet in 20 minutes, guided by twigs they had planted as markers. He made it down, half blind but safe. Barry and Stobart remained at Camp 2. When both Primus stoves failed, Barry pressed on with Sherpa Gilung and reached the 22,000-foot summit of White Needle at noon. From there, he photographed Kun, the snow plateau, and caught brief glimpses of Nun's east ridge before clouds hit it again. He later wrote that the west ridge, though steeper, seemed less difficult. That same day, he descended to 15,000 feet, exhausted and snowblind. The expedition ended without a summit, yet with valuable knowledge. Their route from Suru through Gulmatongas and the Shafat Nala proved sound. They found local supplies of milk and eggs and learned that skis and Truger snowshoes were indispensable in soft snow. Avalanches thundered daily from neighboring peaks, though none itself remained quiet. Their tents, double sleeping bags, and sponge rubber mats served well, and James noted small refinements for future climbers. Nunn had defied the Bullock workmen's in 1906, Dr. Neve in 1910, Mason in 1920, and Waller in 1934. 40 years after the massif was first explored, the mountain still stood inviolate. Its vast cliffs, 6,000 feet high, allowed approach only by its east or west ridges, and neither had yet yielded. From their careful notes, Captain James corrected earlier maps and described the true form of the southern ridges and glaciers. The Nunkun Massif remained unconquered in 1946. As James wrote in closing, Nun still stands inviolate. Her summit will not be easily won.